The eighth most common question is that as killing an animal is a ruthless act, why do we Muslims have non-vegetarian food? I would like to say on the outset that a Muslim can be a very good Muslim by being a pure vegetarian. It is not compulsory in Islam to have non-vegetarian food. But since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us permission, why should we not have it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Ma'idah chapter number 5, verse number 1, يا أيها الذين آمنوا أوفوا بالعقود أحلت لكم بهيمة الأنعام إلا ما يطلع عليكم غير محل الصيد وأنتم حرم. O you who believe, fulfill obligations lawful unto thee are all four-footed animals with the exceptions named. And it's mentioned in Surah Nahl chapter number 16, verse number 5, وَالْأَنْعَامَ خَلَقَهَا لَكُمْ فِيهَا دِفْعٌ وَمَنَافِعُ وَمِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ. And the cattle He created that ye derive warmth, and out of their meat ye eat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Mu'minun chapter number 23, verse number 21, وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ فِي الْأَنْعَامِ لَعِبْرَةً نُسْقِيكُم مِّمَّا فِي بُطُونِهَا وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَنَافِعُ كَثِيرَةٌ وَمِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ. And the cattle He created, an excellent example. We produce milk from them, and out of their meat ye eat. So since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us permission to have non-vegetarian food, why should we not have it? Let's analyze what are the logical and scientific reasons why Islam permits a Muslim from having non-vegetarian food. If we analyze non-vegetarian food, it contains proteins and amino acids and vitamins. Our body, it requires 8 amino acids. And these, they are not produced in the body. They are supposed to be provided by the external diet. And these 8 amino acids, they are only present in the fleshy food. They are not present in the vegetarian food. And the non-vegetarian food, it is a wholesome meal. And it contains proteins and vitamins. If we analyze the set of teeth of the herbivorous animals, they have a flat set of teeth. They can only have vegetarian food. If you analyze the set of teeth of the carnivorous animals, they have a pointed set of teeth, a canine teeth. They can only have non-vegetarian food. If Almighty God wanted us to have only vegetarian food, why did He give us the pointed teeth? Why did He give us the canine teeth? But natural to have non-vegetarian food. If you analyze the digestive system of the herbivorous animals, they can only digest vegetarian food. If you analyze the digestive system of the carnivorous animals, they can only digest non-vegetarian food. If you analyze the digestive system of us humans, we can digest non-vegetarian food, that is the fleshy food, as well as vegetarian food. We have a small intestine and a large intestine. We are not herbivores, nor are we carnivores, but we are omnivores. And many people think that the Hindu scriptures, it prohibits the having of non-vegetarian food. If you analyze, it is mentioned in Manusmriti, chapter number 5, verse number 30, that the eater who eats of that to be eaten does nothing wrong. For God created some to be the eater and some to be the eaten. It's mentioned in Manusmriti, chapter number 5, verse number 31, that eating meat in sacrifice is not a sin. It is the law of God. It's mentioned in Manusmriti, chapter number 5, verse number 39 to 40, that killing animal in sacrifice is not considered as a sin. And it's mentioned in Mahabharat, Anushasana Parv, chapter number 88, the 5 brothers, that's the Pandavas, the eldest brother, Yudhishthira, he asked Bhishma that what things shall I give in sacrifice, in yagna, which will satisfy the ancestors. So Bhishma replies and says that if you give them fruits, vegetables and herbs, it will satisfy the ancestors for 1 month. If you give them fish, for 2 months. If you give them meat, for 3 months. If you give them hair, for 4 months. if you give them meat of goat for 5 months, if you give them meat of bacon for 6 months, if you give them birds for 7 months, if you give them deer for 8 months. And the menu continues and says that if you give them buffalo, it will satisfy the ancestors for 11 months. And if you give them cow, it will satisfy the ancestors inexhaustibly. Imagine all these things are mentioned in the menu: fruits, vegetables, meat. So Hinduism is not against having non-vegetarian food. It was the Hindus who picked up the philosophy of other religions and made their religion into vegetarianism. And when you ask them that why are they vegetarians, so they say that, killing an animal, it is a sin. So I said, fine. Today, after medical science has advanced, we come to know that even plants have got life. So now their logic has changed. They say, no. We agree that plants have got life, but plants, they cannot feel pain. Today, after medical science has advanced, we have come to know that even the plants can feel pain, but the cry of the plants cannot be heard to the human ear. Because the humans can hear between 20 cycles to 20,000 cycles per second. Anything above that or below that we cannot hear. Like the silent dog whistle. It is 40,000 cycles per second. And there was a farmer who created a gadget by which the cry of the plants could be heard to the human ear. Because the humans can hear between 20 cycles to 20,000 cycles per second. Anything above that or below that we cannot hear. And some might argue the maximum and say that we agree that plants have got life, we agree that plants can feel pain. But plants, they have got 2 senses less. They have got 3 senses. Animals have got 5 senses. I said, fine, I agree with you for sake of argument. If your brother is born with 2 senses less, he's born deaf and dumb, and someone comes and murders him, someone comes and kills him, will you go to the judge and tell me, Lord, give the criminal lesser punishment because my brother had 2 senses less? You will tell me, Lord, give the criminal double punishment because he killed my brother who was a masoom, who was innocent. So 2 senses less or 2 senses more does not make a difference in Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 168, Ya ayyuhan nasu kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba. O mankind, eat of the good things that we've provided for you. And if we Muslims stop having non-vegetarian food, there will be overpopulation of cattle. Like how in some countries, we have overpopulation of humans, India, China. Similarly, we'll have overpopulation of cattle. And believe me, I do not have any problem if the non-Muslims in India, they do not have non-vegetarian food. Because the price of meat and beef will increase. Believe me, I do not have any problem. But when anyone says that non-vegetarian food is prohibited for a human being, that's the time I give all these logical reasons.